Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to solve the Pandora machine, and before I solve the machine I can just first of all, we are going to start with the full TCP port scan. And we can find that port 22 and port 80 are open, so we can also use port 22 80 default script version detection targeted. So we can perform the targeted TCP service scan further, and we can find that Apache web server is running and SSH is open. So in this machine, it is important to scan UDP, which many beginners could skip. So we can also find this further. Sudo perform UDP scan all UDP ports, UDP scan, and to something is missing. ML. The scan finds that 161 SNMP, which stands for Simple Network Management Protocol. So it is designed to let administrators monitor systems, network devices, interfaces, processes, uptime, and more. The problem is that if SNMP is misconfigured, it can leak sensitive information remotely. SNMP can expose running processes, process argument, listening port, network interfaces, install software, system information, usernames, and sometimes credentials. So we can also perform nmap, default script, version detection, UDP scan, 40161, targeted, UDP output, and so we can just check the targeted UDP nmap result. So we can find that there are results that we can also check further. It says the uh, the public means that it is community string, so it means that we could be able to query system information remotely. So we can also check that week 22 looks open and 161 SNMP looks open, and locally there is like MySQL and DNS server. And if you also navigate this further, you can just like check to save time. There looks to be interesting running process, which looks like there looks to be credential that we might be able to use. So at this stage we can SSH, since SSH is open, Daniel, and we can also use hotel Babylon 2-3. Perfect. So we can bind that Daniel, we can access we can log in as Daniel. So who am I? Daniel, ID and hostname, Pandora, and I'm in Daniel folder, but there doesn't look to be flag. So there looks to be another user met. I think this we need to get the met shell, but ILS. So at this stage we can perform the local enumeration as well. So what we can do is we can download the limpias and perform this in Daniel shell, and I think we can write here, and then run this, and So we can also check this file further. ls cat name I think less txt. Yes. There is Hotel Babylon like this, and so there looks to be active port and MySQL and DNS server looks to be reachable from the local side, and it is open port. And my user is Daniel, and sudo l no sudo token. So we can find that we can go to the met and then root. We can find that there is interesting Apache web server here. We can copy and paste. Also, we can also copy and paste this. So first of all, we can also check that there is var www Pandora and document root is, so potentially we can navigate this later. And MariaDB, and there is var the Pandora console file as well. Other interesting file. And there looks to be interesting file here with unknown SUID binary. We could potentially use this when we navigate from met to root after we get the met shell. Yes, so this should be our current binding. So I'm going to check the this Pandora related website with which assigned user is met. So I think this could be the key ingredient to get the met shell. First of all, I can www Pandora cd, and I can also curl post and yes, it says there is URL Pandora console. So at this stage we can also check this further too. So I like to port forward from my attacker machine. So what I'm going to do is I think I will transfer this here and hotel Babylon to 3 and if I perfect. So local port forwarding is working as expected. And then we can browse the there looks to be Pandora console here. So you can find that it is the current it looks related to version, so we can just check like this and vulnerability. So this looks related to there looks to be vulnerability regarding Pandora FMS version 7 like this. I can check further. So I'm going to focus on this to solve this question. So Pandora FMS 7.42 contains multiple critical code vulnerabilities, including SQL injection and remote code execution flaws that allow unauthenticated or low privilege attackers to fully compromise the monitoring server. So the vulnerability chain or SQL injection in an administrative endpoint enables authentication bypass and then grants access to file upload or command execution features that achieve RCE. So we need to use SQL injection and then file upload or command execution features that achieve RCE. So we can check this further. It is open source software for monitoring kinds of security sensitive application and systems such as firewalls, databases, and web servers. And if I check this further, so at this stage we can perform the SQL injection, and SQL injection looks to be this. So we can check this further. When accessing the chart generator, first the authentication is checked. Include chart generator, line 72, the user input is fetched from the request. Get and post parameters as well as directory is properly but not used. Is passed to the constructor of class with any session ID is passed to the constructor of the class without any sanitation. Stop function check login is used to check if a login session variable is set and valid. And so I can understand that we can like retrieve the user set session and we can use. So if we can find the admin session, admin user session from the SQL injection, we can technically access to admin, access as a admin. So get row filter, this function used. Internal functions that dynamically builds a SQL query based on the provided table name and a condition. Provided table name and a condition supplied as an array. So it appears that this function has the table name, and if we check this function further, I think this one. So first one is table. So we can technically inspect this table. So login bypass is sufficient for an ethical administrator there. So we can also execute code to get the math shell. Math is like assign user ID for this var www pandora / pandora console. And so we if we also check this, I think we can check this vulnerability, check this. A SQL injection vulnerability in the Pandora console component allows an authenticated attacker to upgrade his unprivileged session via the include session ID parameter. So session ID parameter is vulnerable and the affected table is, as you have seen, it is where is it? Affected table is t sessions underscore php, and so before using the SQL map to perform SQL injection, you can also check that like here. You can confirm that the vulnerable endpoint is reachable using call it Pandora console, and if you also navigate to console, there should be include, and there is also chart generator, so we'll navigate there, chart generator, and as you have seen, the session ID parameter is weak, so session ID random value as 1 and parameter, I think we can just like this. It is 8081. Perfect. So we can find that it looks accessible, and this endpoint exists, and we can perform SQL map at this stage. I think I can just like this. Session ID should be the vulnerable parameter, and batch is automatically choosing the default prompt from the SQL map command, and we can enumerate the database names. So we can find the database Pandora, so we can use this. So vulnerable parameter is session ID, and automatically choosing default prompt, and enumerate the databases. We don't need this. We will use database Pandora, and I will also check the tables, and I can check the result. SQL map table in this. So what we want to focus regarding this enumeration is that I want to check whether the T sessions PHP table is currently in this Pandora machine. So let's SQL map. So T sessions, I think there is no underscore. T sessions. Oh, there is also T sessions PHP. So we can also we don't need to use tables enum, but we can use T sessions PHP, and we can also list the columns as well. Pandora T sessions. I think IT sessions PHP. So we can find that Pandora T sessions PHP. So technically we can try using ID session data less active again, and then extract the data using dump. So if I check this, there looks to be related to math, which I believe it is assigned user for Pandora app, so it could be admin user for this website. So I can web developer tool, storage, and take the value to this, and if I perfect, so we can find that you can access the Pandora FMS console, and met Pandora HTB is the one that we would like to get the share of this. So at this stage, so as mentioned here, by page submission administrator, there are already possibilities. We can execute the code using this vulnerability. We can read, allows execute command execution via the events features. And I'd like to have more information. Events feature. So what I want to do is we can GitHub, we can perform the exploit manually. So if you navigate to this, there is execute command. So this can be something that we can use. So the vulnerable request goes to ajax.php and target URI path is mm, mm. So it should be something like Pandora console, which is target URI, and then with it is URL encoded, and the query parameters looks to be seg equals to event OS, seg2 equals to operation event, and the post parameters include Ajax events like purple event response, target command, and response ID is 1. So we can convert this to our curl command. So I can do like this and try to form curl command with this. I can move this further. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is the method is post and HTTP 8081 Pandora console and Ajax PHP, and parameter is seg equals to event OS to operation event and header cookie PHP is cookie is I'm going to use this one. And content type is I can just copy and paste. And it should be data URL encode page include to safely URL encoding special characters in case I'll use data URL encode event data URL encode perform event and we can use id command for test purpose. Perfect. So we can find that the math is used here. So ajax.php acts like an Ajax dispatcher. In many PHP applications, ajax.php receives requests from the web interface and routes them internally based on parameters. So And what data URL encode makes effective is because when we are going to write the reverse shell, so it will safely format the special characters. So at this stage, we can also use the same command again to get the reverse shell, and I think we, in case I can I can here set the listener and use this command again, but I'm going to, instead of using ID, I'm going to write the reverse shell. I'd like to use this one, and 4 to 8, 4, and URL encode. I'm going to use this and copy and paste this. Target, maybe I can perform like echo, and we can encode the payload as base 64, base 64, and then run bash. Then I think I can also make this as base 64. Hmm. Hmm. Base 64. I need to decode and execute again. Perfect. Then who am I? We can get the method shell as expected. So I can stabilize the shell. then I can exit the Daniel shell and like this. And if you look into the finding before, there looks to be unknown SUID binary, so I would like to check this. So cat maybe I can this again. Strings head. If I check this, only I have read permission. Maybe I can cd user bin, and since there is Pandora backup, I can transfer this. Python it should be. I can get this Pandora backup. I can read this here. It is not broken. I can cancel. Attach again, and can like this. Pandora backup. So we can find that there is like interesting thing here. Root backup, Pandora backup. So so this gives me an idea that the tar, we can use the tar binary to get the root shell. So in order to do this, we will going to do the path hijaction. So normally it returns user bin tar, but we are going to hijack this and create the fake executable name /temp/tar. So we will navigate to temp folder. So the intended change should be Pandora backup has SUID root, and Pandora backup executes tar, and tar is resolved through path, and we can perform the path hijaction to search for temp tar burst, and temp tar executes the malicious payload. So we can firstly temp tar, check this with disable created temp tar and run this. User bin Pandora backup. But it doesn't return the root, and the UI owner and the group looks to be met, so which is doesn't look to be expected. Nevertheless, we can also make this again. We can like delete the tar and cat tar. We can try the so we can copy the bash binary and set the permission on temp root bash. And 4755 is important because it can set SUID PATH, and if it's the temp root bash is owned by the root, then we can execute this with the root privilege. Then we can EOF and I think we can use again backup successful, and but it is still matched. So even if we just like temp root bash, even if we do like this, cat root bash clear, it got broken. So even if we temp root bash, it doesn't look working as expected. So SUID gives the privilege of the file owner, and it should be met here, but we want root. So we would like to debug why it fails at this stage, and delete the temp tar again, and you can delete them all, and cat bin bash id temp tar debug, where my temp tar debug, and so we can run the command like again, inspect this. We can find that it is still like where my command is running shows the math, but if effective UID is root, it should print root. So so we understand that the fake tar did not run with the root effective UID. So the failure could be SUID root privilege was not preserved into the fake tar execution path. We can fix by getting a real SSH session as met. So first of all, we can add our SSH public key to home met SSH authorized keys file. So first of all, I'm going to run this command and connect met shell via SSH. So generates an SSH key pair. Oh, I think I can mkdi met cd met mkdi met and mkdi met key cd met key SSH keygen here I think I can just like that key perfect. And print the met key pop and this shell we can home met hmode, set the directory permission and appends this public key to authorized keys home met authorized keys mode and set file permission for and ensure SSH directory and files are owned by met. So in the attacker machine, and set the permission and we can use this key to get into this. Perfect. And then we can go to the change folder again and we can create the tar so we can also set a fake tar directory and user pin Pandora backup. So we can, so if we check this here, yes, it should be different now. So if we run like this, who am I? Perfect. So we can find the effective UID's root. So we can get the root share now. So I hope today's video is helpful, and see you in the next video.